Good morning, everybody. I'm Carol, and this is my quiet corner. Today, I just thought I would throw some paint around and see what I get and just spend some time painting in the amount of time that I have. So, what I've already done, and you can see my light, and I'm sorry about that. I don't know how to get rid of it unless I put some tape down on that area, but that's okay. I am going to start and think about what I want to put on here. I've already wet my paper because I wasn't sure what design I wanted to put on my paper because I've been playing around with a couple of different ideas and playing with some watercolor, and I've done the Zentangle on it, and I've recently done these, and I just love this design. So I'm thinking I might do something like that today and just play around. So, but the thing is, I'm trying to decide what do I want to put on there. Now I know my paper is already wet and I'm going to decide whether I want to have a landscape or portrait. And those ones were portraits. So I thought, why not do try a landscape? Hi, Sherry. So the thing with landscape is it makes it a little difficult to try and figure out how I want the lines to go, whether I want them to go horizontal or I want them to go vertical. So what I'm thinking is, being that it's landscape and I can get rid of one of those lines, um, I can do different types of flowers, which I think might be an idea because I just think it might. So I know my paper's already wet, which is fine. And you can't see this very well. It's very faint for you, but I'm just going to do some flowers. And I'm holding my pencil back so I can just do, let alone my hands are already shaky, but, it just gives it that little bit of an effect, different, wobbly. Sometimes it's a good thing and sometimes it's a bad thing. So I started with my flower, and I think I think I'm going to just make this come down. I'm just going to do a couple of flowers just so you can see what my process is. Add some leaves. That's probably too close to the edge of the paper, but that's all right. It's just fine. So I thought, oh, this would be fun and different and just have some fun playing around. I have a little bit of time. So let's see, what other kind of flower can we do? Let's do one of these. And I'm just playing. So I just wanted to do some watercolor, and I thought everybody liked seeing what I was doing. So, hi, Pam. So I thought I would tinker and just show you how I was doing that. Now, let's see. Um, I want to have other little things come up and past. because I need something over here. And you'll see the difference in the water as I start adding it. And like I said, my paper is already wet, so I'm just trying to fill in little bits and pieces here or there. And let's just make a sun up in here. And maybe a cloud coming this way around the back of this flower. I haven't done this just as yet. This is my first time just playing around. So there's my design, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see it just a little bit better. Oh, I got a pan. Oh, nope, not pan tilt. So you can see. You won't be able to see my paints or anything like that, but you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Hi, Teresa. So the next thing is to create the lines that you want to have as an effect. And I'd like these, because it's a sun, I'd like those ones to go this way. So I'm going to do multiple designs, I think. And I'm going to have it go almost like I did with the frog. And I'm going to start here and just make a line. And I'm not going to go through my design that I just did. I'm going to go around it. So I did my first line. And let's see. I think I'm going to make them all kind of go on a diagonal. I think that would look nice. So I think the next line I may make the same width as my ruler. And again, I am going to just go past. Oh, there's a cloud there, so I got to come up here. I'm not going through any of the designs. So now I want to make a skinny one. So I'm going to try. And when you're doing this, you kind of want to have uh, the design peeking into other areas. So you want it to show, but you also want to have it that it looks like it's dimensional. So you want to have little bits of the other designs, like this leaf, just a little bit of a peeking into the next section. And now I will go up to the next one, and my paper is drying already, but that's all right. So I'm thinking another wider one here. I think that would look good, and I'm going to catch this petal in there. I don't know how much I'll be able to get done in my short amount of time. I do have an hour, but time goes fast. I was watching Dee Dee. Time does go fast. Now I'm going to make a smaller one. In here. And again, I'm going in and around my design, just lining it up. Hi, Jane. All right. Now, I think I want to put that one a little bit bigger. So I've got that leaf coming in. And I need to go straight through there, You can make adjustments as you go if you don't think it's going to work out. So you can just fix and paint as you go. And I think I'll do another small one here. And it does take time, so enjoy yourself when you're doing it. Just now I could have put another leaf over there, but I think I'm going to make a small one in here. And I'm going to put a little bit more up through the sun and have that go out like that. Yeah, I think that looks good. So there we are. Hi, Dana. So this is what I've done so far. I've drawn random looking flowers, which I have no idea what colors they are going to be, because that will decide what I'm going to do on my lines. So again, I am using a plastic um, clipboard to do my painting on. I think I'm going to wet the other side here because it helps it with all the water and everything that's going on. It helps the paper stay put. So I'm going to just wet this again, which doesn't really hurt the paper at all. It just makes it kind of glues it in its spot. And while my paper's wet, I'm going to just sign it here with my pencil. And I will wet over that because that seals it in and leaves it permanent. All right, so there we are. So now I have this major glare in the middle because my paper is wet, but that's okay. So the next thing I want to do is pick out what colors I want to use. And that can be kind of difficult at times, but I've been hooked on a color palette that I really, really am enjoying this color palette. So this is kind of what our lines are going to come out and look like. Everything is different. They're always different. No matter how many times you paint it, it always comes out different. So I'm going to start, and my favorite is quinacridone gold. So, and I know my son is going to be a yellow, so I'm going to be careful of what yellows I put there. So I think I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm thinking this flower is going to be more of the blues. So I'm going to just go in and play. I probably shouldn't have wet my paper this much, but that's all right. Last time I did it, it was dry, but I can go back in. I'm just kind of working my way around, and these are going to blend. They're going to run, they're going to blend. And that's fine because I use that color a lot. The other color I like to use is quinacridone magenta. So I will take and I will move that around. I could have let my paper set a little bit more, but that's okay. And I love to blend these two. Which right now everything looks very light, but I also go back and I give it another layer. The other color I like to use is either Prussian blue or Mayan blue. So I'm going to take a little bit of Prussian blue and I'm going to put it down here. And I don't care if it goes into the other areas. I've done this wet and I've done this dry, and it's fine. It just blends all the colors. And I'm going around my moon or my sun very carefully. And this is going to turn it a little purple. So this one's going to come out a little bit different than the other ones, but that's okay. Um, Apatite green. I'm going to add down in here and maybe down here. And everything dries really, really quick here. So what I'm doing is it's going to be soaked up in a matter of, a little bit of time. And now I'm just mixing in little bits. And use whatever colors you like. My other favorite is Lunar Blue and Moon Glow. I've been using those a lot, which is really nice. And I will go back in after this is a little bit more dry and do my edging and different things like that, and it will come out and look really, really nice. And I think I'm going to put that color down here. Even though there's the yellow already, it gives it that off color, and that is what I'm looking for. You want it to be unique and have it create really different. I know, Jane, it's never the same, and it just makes it so much fun. And I could, like, I've done this a couple of times now, but I've really been enjoying the different way everything just blossoms and blooms. And for me, that's the fun part. That's the fun part. Um, I'm gonna go along here. And you see, I haven't really changed the color of my brush. I'm just blending in with the yellow, the quinacridone gold that's there. And now what I do is I just take and blend. And when you are going to blend, if you actually get too much water in there and it starts to um, bloom or make flowers, you can suck up some of the water with a tissue or something, and that helps. Like I said, I'm limited on my time today, so I don't think I'll be able to actually finish this because it'll be uh, it'll be too late. All right, what other color do we want to add into there? I'm going to take a little bit of the red or the Quin Magenta and add it in this spot. And then what I'm going to do is take and bring that over to this side. It's called bookending. So if it's on one side of the line, you put it on the other side of the line. And I don't care if it's bleeding or anything like that. And it's going to change colors now because I put it into the blue. And that's fine because now we're blending. And this is a great way to see how your paints interact with each other. And I know I've got the lighting is messing up, so I just want to show you. Now you can, if you have non-staining paints, you can pull out the paints that went into your flower if you have a nice thirsty brush. Some paints aren't staining and some are. And even if it does stain, it's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Now I'm kind of working some of my edges just a little bit because some of these things I don't want to go into the flower, but it's all right because everything is wet. And like I said, I wasn't sure what I was going to do today, and I thought, oh, let's just go for it. Let's wet the paper and see what happens because I haven't done this totally wet. And just you can always paint over things. So, even if it doesn't look like what you want, you can always change it. I kind of like the dark edges because that's what gives it a different look. And like I said, you can do dry on wet or wet on dry, I should say, not dry on wet. That's so silly. But it takes time to get the painting to where you want it to be. And it seems to be just floating nicely with the wet on wet. The other ones I've done was wet on dry, and I wanted to try. So you're learning along with me as we go through and work uh, the way the paint is working with the wet on wet. All right, let's get some more greens in there because I know we are going to have um, green in the leaves. So I don't want to have too much green in and around the leaves, but I do want to have some green in the bottom. So I want to pull that in. And maybe over here. And like I said, use what you have. Use a brush you're comfortable with. And just let it do its thing. The blending is great. Um, so you can see how your paints are working together. And like I said, I'm just using basically the same colors, but varying them. Just varying them. So you have a little bit of underpainting here and there. I'm specifically avoiding the center because I don't want it to bleed too much, so I'm giving it time to just kind of rest. So if you don't want to work wet and wet, that's just fine. So take that color and a little bit of my Prussian blue. I think I'm going to have the Prussian blue come in here next to there. And I love when the blues and the quinacridone gold blend together. Hi, Becky. You've been really busy, Becky. I've seen your bear this morning. It was very nice. Okay, now I'm going to go on the other side of this one just a little bit. And I want to use blues there. And I'm going to blend it a little bit with that green, which looks really nice together. And you can't really tell because the light is blaring, but you can see it looks like a hot mess when you start, but it eventually all comes together. And I don't want to hold it up too much because then it decides to run. I'm just going to bring that down into there. I'll paint over it probably, and that's okay. But I love the deep gem colors. I was thinking about getting some other colors, but then I thought I have these, so let's just use what I have. I do want to get a bigger palette for the bigger brushes because I would like to do some bigger paintings. I want to do some 9 by 14s and stuff like that. So I have some ideas that I want to do. And in order to do those, I need to have a bigger palette so my bigger brushes will fit. Because right now with the regular palettes, these ones, the bigger brushes, they don't even fit well into the full size pans. Yeah, they do, Jane. Yes, they do. The awkward stage. So awkward. This is the opera pink, and I love glazing some over the other colors so it blends. And usually when I get to that point where it has a rough uh, straight line, I'll go back in with a damp brush and just blend it out so it blends in. And I don't care that that other color is coming through because that's what gives the variation in the painting. It eventually will dry, which is fine. I don't care if it dries. That's a little bit too dry up on there. Specky, are you coming on later? Becky has lots going on in her room with lots of works in progress. Becky is coming on later, so she'll be on. Becky can put her link in there if she wants. Uh, what blue is that? This blue. So I want to bookend this to go from this side over to this side. And that's what it's called when you go from one side of a line to another with an object there. It's called bookending. And now I'm going to go back to my Queen Gold because I really like the Queen Gold on that end there. And have it blend a little bit with, I'm trying to hold this so you can see, so you don't get the glare, but then what happens is my paint runs. So it's like, no, but that's all right. We'll deal with it. We will deal with it. It'll blend in with that pink. I do go back after and work my colors, which is why you see that, thanks, Becky, the effects of the graininess, and I love that. I don't know if anybody else does, but I do. I love the texture and the granulation that some of the paints do. So now I want to use, let's go back up to the sun area. I want to put a little bit of purple up in there. And I do have the underpainting there, and that's fine because it'll give that look of blending. And this one's going to be a partial purple and a partial quinacridone gold. And I'm going to have to get some more quinacridone gold because I've been going through that quite a bit. And when you put the purple and the quinacridone gold together, it gives it a nice little brownish, goldish color, and it looks really good. So I wash my brush and then I'm going back in and just blending. And I got to put some more purple back in there because my quinacridone gold just takes over. It just takes over, which is fine. I can go back after that. And that's what I do. I work from one side to the other side, back again. And I know I'm not going to get done. But it's a process. I just thought I would come on and share what I've been doing. And then I'll go in after and then I will paint my picture. And I think I might doodle on this one after it's done. I think I might do some Zentangling on it. I think that one is what this is going to happen to this picture because I think it would look really nice with Zentangles on it. And this one's still pretty wet in there, which is going to go into the pink, which is fine. And now I'm going to go up here. And this brush is a Mimic, and it's a number 8. That's what I'm using. And you can see it blending and going all over the place, and that's fine too. My other pictures, I really, really had a great time doing, and I knew I didn't have a time limit on those. So I really sat here for almost like 3 hours just painting and going back and just continuing and going and it's a lot of fun. And the time just goes so fast. And I was listening to an audio book is what I was doing, and just painting and listening and just enjoying the quiet. And so if you want to have a more straighter line without the bleeds, you do this while your paper is dry, as you can see. I wanted to try something new today, so you're all getting to see the experiment happen while it's doing its thing. And this is usually what I do. If I'm not stitching, I'm either watercoloring or I have my bookbinding stuff that I've got ready to pull out of the press, and I am going to do the cover on that, which I'm excited to do. So I have other things that I've been working on in between everything. Let's see. I keep going back to the same colors because I really like them. I really like them. And some I'm making heavier than others, but I just want to get a base down so I can see if I like it there or not. And then if not, then I can go back in and change it. And I am going to put the quinacridone gold in there. And I love when the magenta and the quinacridone gold go together. Now I'm going to change that color midway. And I'm going to use um maybe some Aussie red and see how that blends. I think that looks good right there. I may have to put that in another spot, the Aussie red gold. It gives it that bit of a reddish, orangish look, but also it can turn into the yellow, which now I'll bookend it and go to this side, which it changed a little bit. So I'm going to add just a couple drops in there to make it blend with the darkerish color, the reddish hue. And I'm not a professional watercolor by any means, so if you're here for the professionalism, you got the wrong channel. I'm just playing. I just like to have fun. I just like to have fun. So, out of the glare for you, which I know I have the glare, so if you're gonna tell me in the comments, don't, because I already know it's there because my paper's wet. Now I need that little bit of blue to come through on this side. And I think this is going to look really nice with Zentangle in it. Really, really I do. So I think that's what's going to happen to these. Hey, Marty. Hi, Kathy. And I'm thinking about changing the date I come on. I don't know if I am going to keep Wednesdays or not. I am going to think about other days. So my Fridays will stay, or I may just come on Fridays and alternate between stitching and watercoloring. So that is another option because I have more time on my Fridays. So that's what I'm thinking. This has got too much water in here, so I'm going to pull some out. Rinse my brush, dry my brush, and just pull out the excess. Which you can do. Now that I have that on my brush, this color, I'm just going to make it continue down just a little bit. And I said, every painting goes through an ugly stage. And this is the ugly stage. So, you know, it's it is what it is. Oh, I got to bring my blue to the other side of my stem. And finish that off and then bring it into here. And with the details, it takes a little bit longer, and that's, that's fine. Now I'm going to pull in some under sea green here. Oh, nope, I shouldn't have done that. Because I've got a green here, I want to have a lighter color there. So I'm going to go back into my quinacridone gold because I don't have it in this middle section, and I'm just going to blend it, which is fine. We're going to get a little bit of green look with that blue, and that's okay too. It'll blend. You have a hard time getting yours out of the ugly stage. uh, we all do. We all do. This kind of changed it to a different color, but that's okay. We'll take it. No matter what happens, we'll take it. If you let me keep an eye on the time, I think I'm almost done. And I can continue this if you'd like in just a video offline. I can do that if you want to see it finish. I'm kind of taking this color here that I have and I'm bringing it into the other side of the stems and blending it, which I will go back in with another color because, the stems are green. But then again, they will have watercolors don't like, I know. You want to see it, Marty? Well, I can do a video and complete it because while it's wet, I like to keep working with it. So what I can do is once I leave here, I thank you, Kathy. Once I leave here, then I will stop this at a certain stage and then I'll turn the camera back on afterwards because I really can't stop right now. I have to keep working it. I mean, I probably could, but it's at a point where I could come on later and finish up. But this is how the changes start happening and creating those really nice edges and color changes throughout. But even if you just want to do stripes instead of going around things, if you just want to do the stripes just to have fun, and practice to be able to do that, and then add your uh, picture in the next time, and you can um, have that practice period prior to. And this is an opera pink in here, which looks really nice. I love pinks and greens together. They look really great. Yeah, they do look watery, and that's I like how it stayed that way. Like, oops. And this is what the end goal will look like. Look how deep and rich these colors are. And that's what it will end up to look like. It definitely will look. And like I have the lights and the darks, and there's green undertones. There's a mix of everything like blues, reds, yellows, greens, purples. It all blends together and it gets so deep. That's where this will eventually be. Well, thank you, everybody. So, but it takes time and multiple layers. I'll show you. I have Paul Rubens and actually the frog is Paul Rubens. The stripes are Daniel Smith. Um, and I will do one in just Paul Rubens, and so you can see the difference between what the watercolor is. And this is a Canson 140-pound paper. So that's uh, that's what I'm using. So between Daniel Smith and Canson paper, and then I go back along my edges with a darker layer, and this is why it takes so long. And then I let my brush, the end of my brush, like the paint is on the tip of my brush, the end of the brush doesn't really have the paint in it, but it has water in it. And when I do my dark layering, I have that paint just on the tip of my brush and the water in the back, and then I just gently go the edge. So it's heavier at the front and water in the back. And when my brush is being pushed down to follow that line, it's gradiating. It makes it blend in, and then you can just come back in and pull it down so it doesn't get a bloom or a hard line. And I need to bring that over into here and into here. And I will come back after and give it the edging because I love to do the edging. All right, let me get it out of the light for you so you can see how I start, and I'll come back in with different colors on this side and fill in the different areas so it can blend. So I will be back. I know Anne is coming on next. So, but I will be in the background filming because she'll be on in 6 minutes, 6 minutes or so. But let's finish filling in because I have this hard line here. And what's nice is even though it was a hard line there, I just took water from my brush and blended that out, and now it's gone. So I have a little bit of blues and greens happening. I think I'm going to bring in a little bit of turquoise in here along with that color. And it's kind of sloppy, but it's all right. Like I said, the other ones I did with dry, and this one is I started on wet because I wanted to try it out and see how it would work for blending. But I kind of think I like the dry version better than I do the wet version. So I'm bringing a little bit more of that magenta into this side. So you can see what I'm doing. So anyway, I'm going to stop at this portion and I'm going to say thank you, everybody. And Anne will be on very shortly. So I'm going to go, and in the background, I'll be filming. So I hope you all have a great day. And from my quiet corner to yours, thank you. I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.